Good morning. Two U.S. banks fail, but Biden says banking system is safe. U.S. President Joe Biden has insisted that the nation's banking system is safe despite the recent collapse of two banks, something that has brought fears to another financial crisis and saw regulators offer emergency loans to banks to prevent additional failures. Your deposit will be there when you need them, Biden said. Really? U.S. regulators closed the Silicon Valley Bank after depositors rushed to withdraw their funds all at once. It was the second largest bank failure in U.S. history, behind only the 2008 failure of Washington Mutual. New York-based Signature Bank has also collapsed in the third largest failure in the U.S. But despite the message from the White House, investors who may be reminded of the 2008 crisis continue to dump shares in bank stocks both in the US and in Europe. The president promised that no losses would be borne by taxpayers and that the Treasury has set aside $25 billion to cover any losses, officials said. However, that they do not expect to have to use any of that money. New York bank regulators took possession of Signature Bank, and the federal government agreed to guarantee full deposit, even those over $250,000 that are not usually insured by the government. Though these steps represent the largest government intervention in the banking system since the 2008 financial crisis, the actions were quite limited compared and no no. quite limited compared with 15 years ago. The two failed banks themselves have not been rescued, and taxpayer money has not been provided to them. How scary is that? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that there would be no bailout like in 2008, but added, "We are concerned about depositors and we're focused on trying to meet their needs." And many business owners have found themselves unable to access funds, some things that may continue for some time, while some may also find it difficult to cover office expense and pay employees. New York Government Kathy Hochul said that government's actions were intended to avoid a bigger crisis involving more banks, but some have already pushed the panic button. How the dollar is gonna be is very scary discussion. What are your thoughts on the recent collapse of the two U.S. banks? Horrible, horrifying. Do you know how your country's economy has been faring in recent months? Not good. Was your country badly affected by the 2008 financial crisis, I suppose? So do you expect a major economic crisis to take place in the near future? Which country do you imagine will have the world's strongest economy 50 years from now? For the discussion, are you generally satisfied with your government's economic policies? What industries would you say are most important to your country's economy? I suppose the US would be the one. What industries or businesses would you invest in if you were millionaire? Which of the world's richest people would you be interested in meeting? Why? A bank is a place where they lend you an umbrella in fair weather and ask for it back when it began to rain. Robert Frost, what are your thoughts on this? ね、ビットコインとかいろいろありますけどね。We should be watched out.